Thanks for joining us for Turn the Page with Paige, brought to you by the Goddard School. I'm your host, Paige Hulsey. In this series, we love to learn the story behind the bedtime stories that children are enjoying by introducing you to the local authors and illustrators that make those works of fiction come to life. Today, our heads are up in the clouds. That's the name of a book about three young brothers who, by sheer imagination, embark on an urban adventure. The story represents the essence of discovery, creativity, and possibility. How having a childlike faith can help us see the beauty in everything, and where the beauty doesn't exist, having the courage to create it. The story was written by St. Louis-based author Shelley Mitchom, who joins us here in studio. Shelley, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Where did you get the idea for your book, Up in the Clouds?
Up in the Clouds, like a lot of children's books, started as a poem. And it grew into more of a story as I added lines and added content and added more ideas to this poem.
Tell me more about the plot, the storyline in the pages itself once we open the book.
So Up in the Clouds is about three young brothers who, by sheer imagination, decide that playing inside with their video games and their plastic toys is just no longer fun. So they seek to explore and to go out into this concrete jungle. The plot is set in an urban setting, and so they want to go out and explore the city around them and discover things that they've never seen before and use their imagination to really create and go on this urban adventure. So they stick together and they really go through these different journeys and adventures, and they explore the world around them, and they definitely discover the essence of creativity and possibility and seeing the beauty in everything.
And I think that's so important for all of us raising kids right now, trying to push them outside to get away from the electronics and the screens. The illustrations are very cool, very unique as well. And what I love is that you partnered with an illustrator from St. Louis too, right? Tell me more about him and his style.
So Andre Easy Yoke Art Williams was actually an art teacher in the St. Louis public schools, and he worked alongside with my husband, so they became really good friends. My husband shared some of his work, and I was able to reach out to him. He's now still an art teacher and art activist as well, so he does a lot of social justice promoting through his artworks and through teaching children about art. And so I just really loved his creativity. I love his imagination and his use of colors to really bring characters alive. You can actually go to his website and see more of his wonderful, wonderful work. But I thought it was just a really good idea to work alongside with him. I actually started trying to be an illustrator myself with this book. My boys and I, we started out with some different ideas in mind to really bring this story to life, but I am not an illustrator at all. So Andre did come alongside me. We collaborated. And it was just really fun. It was really easy, just allowing him to flow and to really see how great of an artist he is. So
well, it looks like it became a perfect match, a great partnership.
Yes.
One example of his style, though, that is so unique is pareidolia, right? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, well, pareidolia, one example, the story starts off with the concept of pareidolia, which is a psychological phenomenon. It's a scientific term. And that's where we see familiar images in things that are inanimate, so things that don't really exist. So one of the adventures that the boys start off with, or one of the adventures in the story, is that they have to battle a mop man. So an idea or an example of pareidolia is seeing a face or an imagery in this mop. And bringing him to life, but he really is an inanimate object. So yeah, that is the idea of pareidolia, and Andre was really able to capture that vision, capture the essence of pareidolia through the illustrations, which is really exciting.
And I think it matches so well for a children's book and the characters in your book, the ages they are, because I'm thinking about the kids who wake up at night and they think they see a scary object when really it's just a shadow of a lamp in their room or something like that.
And I really did experience pareidolia from a child. I never really knew what it was, the scientific term from it. So a lot of this is based off of pareidolia, which is also something that can be used in the classroom. STEM, you can learn about this scientific phenomenon, and it really does allow a child to use their imagination. And as you mentioned, to really ease any fears or any questions that they may have, or really to expound on their imagination and being able to see things in the world around us and really discover that creativity and that beauty in what's around us. So that's the essence of the book.
I understand the 3 boys in the book. It's not a coincidence that there are 3 brothers. You have 3 sons, and obviously so dear to you. Did they directly inspire the personalities of the boys in the book?
Yes, they did. So I have 3 boys. They are now 11, 12, and 13. So this book is based off of them when they were younger, but their personalities are a direct relation to the characters in the book. One of them is a bit more inquisitive. The other is a bit more, courageous in terms of venturing out and looking out for his brothers and really sticking up and fighting for them. So they all have their own personality, but I do think it is indicative to just the personalities of different children. And I think all children should be able to relate to one of them in the story.
Yeah. How did they react when they saw themselves in a book?
They're really excited. And I mean, this has been a story that's been in the making for a while. So they've grown with the characters, I think, even to a degree. And so they're really excited to see themselves represented in this story.
Both the people and the places in the story hold a lot of meaning to you. And we talked about the illustration style, but some of it is based off, are these photos that you took in North St. Louis and other neighborhoods right here in the St. Louis Metro?
Yes, so that's a really good question. I grew up in North St. Louis City as a child, so all of the pictures, the photographs are illustrated illustrations are placed on top of the photographs that I took in North St. Louis as well as Old North, which is a very historic area of St. Louis City, where you tend to see a little bit more of dilapidation, a little bit more of lack. So I really wanted to use that area to really hone in on the concept of the story, which is where the title comes in, Up in the Clouds. It's not just a title, though. It's about the essence of creativity and possibility and seeing the beauty in everything. And so North St. Louis is very near and dear to my heart because that's where a lot of my childhood adventures took place with my siblings, but also just to know that there is beauty really wherever we are and wherever you grow up, whether you grow up in an urban setting, a rural setting, wherever you are, don't lose that childlike faith to see the beauty and possibility and creativity in everything.
And I love that blurb that you sent me. You know, this book shows how these boys found beauty, and where they couldn't find beauty, they created it.
They created it, right, by using their imagination and in this sense, pareidolia, but really just enjoying life and the beauty of life in where they are and using their imagination to create that beauty.
How does it feel to have your children and your childhood neighborhood represented in a book that other children are going to see and read now?
You know, it's really exciting, and as some people have purchased the book, older uncles and aunts and people that have looked through the book, it's really nostalgic for them. Yeah. And so that really is exciting for me to know that I'm actually able to not just garner the attention of children and their interests, but also of the older generations who remember those landmarks and who remember those different areas where they grew up. So just hearing those stories and get that feedback of being able to go back to the essence of, you know, our childhood and go outside and play and really hone in on those historical landmarks, it means a lot to me. It was really exciting to hear those stories.
Well, Shelley, before we let you go, I want to ask if you can share a recommendation for a children's book from another author or illustrator.
I do have a recommendation. It is The Names Grandmama Calls by Dr. Danielle Huff, and it is a book that she just wrote, which is near and dear to her heart, dealing with a grandmother who has dementia. And so this book is for children on how to love and care and just learn about the different seasons of your grandparents' life and how to help them and work alongside them and love them through the process.
That sounds like a very important lesson for all of us
in
all of our own seasons.
Yes, so.
Shelley, congratulations on your book, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Paige.
And thank you at home for being here as well. We hope you'll tune in again soon for the next episode of Turn the Page with Paige.